Well, a very, very happy Wednesday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Quintero Show on YouTube. We're live on Facebook, and very happy to have you on this Wednesday morning. We've got a great guest coming up here momentarily. I'm going to tell you about. We're going to get into Jackson Merrill not winning the Rookie of the Year. We're going to get into Mike Shildt not winning the managerial award for this year in the National League. But again, I would ask you to please subscribe to our program. We're working our way towards 3,000 viewers right now, and I know some. I know we had one show where we had over 12,000, and we're building. And we started out slow and doing very, very well. But if you're tuned in for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost anything. We're here Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 9:30, talking about everything regarding what's going on around America's finest city. So with that, we're going to get to a gentleman that really his job is to bring great sporting events to our city. And he has done this for a long period of time. And now the DirecTV Holiday Bowl is moving to Snapdragon Stadium. Always welcome to our program. CEO of Sports San Diego, Mark Neville, joins us on this Wednesday morning. And Mr. Neville, this is getting to be your time of year. I know you work year round, but boy, here the next 45, 50 days, you're going to be going to full bore.
I think I was looking at this last night. So we get all of our red coats together this afternoon, and I was thinking there's so many priorities that we have right now that we have to kind of order them. But over the next 50 days, I think we have 25 different events, and but all to benefit San Diego, and it's all fun. I mean, this is the best time of year. We're putting on sporting events. It's great, and doing it for San Diego.
Mark, when you started out way back when working with our buddy Bruce Binkowski, it was, hey, let's focus on the Holiday Bowl. Let's get that thing rolling. And now, over the last couple of years, you've taken on a completely different role. I mean, you're still the head man of the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, but man, you guys are doing so many wonderful things to bring people to our community and to try to drive a tourism. Tell us a little bit about how your job has changed.
It is night and day from what it was just 5 years ago. I will tell you the moment that things changed for us was, we did the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, we did the Poinsettia Bowl, we did other events off and on throughout the years. But one that changed everything for us and really changed everything for attracting events to San Diego was when we hosted the Navy versus Notre Dame football game here in 2018. Huge success. It was the last sellout at the old stadium, and big numbers in terms of visitors that came to San Diego for it. Hotel room nights through the roof. TOT taxes and sales taxes were through the roof. And that was really an opportunity. And the next month at our board meeting, we had a conversation about we can do more for San Diego, more than just the bowl game. And even at that time, the writing was on the wall. The bowl system was changing a lot. So let's expand our portfolio. Let's do more than what we do right now. And then I'll fast forward to where we are now. When we were just doing the Holiday Bowl, now we are Sports San Diego. That is our name. We are Sports San Diego. We have three owned and operated events, which include the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, the Rady Children's Invitational basketball tournament, which is coming up next week, and the California State Games that have been around for quite a while. Sandy Hill, the longtime executive director of the Cal State Games, she retired. One of our first events that we brought to San Diego as a sports commission was the Transplant Games of America. It's a very similar style, Olympic-style sports festival. That one was for people with organ and tissue transplants, living donors, family members of deceased donors, but very similar in scope as the California State Games. And so she asked if we would take it on. We looked at it. We said, yeah, let's do that. So we have those three owned and operated events right now. And then we also now serve as the sports commission for San Diego. And what sports commissions are, they're entities that recruit events for the region. So for example, the All Blacks and Fiji rugby match that we had at Snapdragon Stadium this summer, we facilitated that. The Manchester United matches that have been here the last 2 summers, we facilitated that. And then a lot of other events, flag football tournaments and ultimate and lacrosse. I mean, you name it. There's so many sports that we have brought to San Diego that I don't even know what the rules are. But we are a nonprofit, and our purpose is to drive tourism to San Diego and using sports as the platform. And tourism's important. Hotel room nights are important because the more room nights that are generated, the more people are going into our restaurants, our shops, are driving sales tax revenues, transient occupancy tax revenues, creating jobs. Tourism is the second biggest industry in our city. Sports, we have not been doing a great job over the last decade or two. And so we needed to make a change to that, and that's what we're doing.
Mark, I want you to talk a little bit about the struggles of the Holiday Bowl financially, because I think people earlier this year, they read articles in the paper and they saw you on different TV stations kind of explaining that. But for people that just kind of read it in the paper but really don't know everything that went on, could you talk a little bit about where you're at now and how tough it was to go through that? Because you had one bowl game that was canceled because of COVID. Then you had another one. I was on my way to Petco Park, and I got a phone call when I was on Via de la Valle saying the game got canceled, and that game UCLA backed out just a few hours before kickoff, and it really put the Holiday Bowl in dire straits there for a while.
There are many who will say it's pretty incredible that we're still standing, actually. COVID, we were able to get out in front of that one a little bit in 2020. The writing was on the wall that we were not going to be able to have fans at the game. So, and it's an expensive event to put on. And so that one, we ended that year. It was October 22nd, 2020. So we stopped it before we started spending a lot of money on the event. It's about an $8 million event to produce. And so most of those expenses occur in November and December. So we were able to stop that a bit, but we still lost quite a bit of money. Then and we're a nonprofit, and so we have built reserves through the year since 1978. We have been putting money to reserves for that rainy day. And so the rainiest day came in 2021 in December, when we had UCLA and NC State slated to play at Petco Park, and then 5 hours before kickoff, UCLA backed out of the game. That was a tremendous blow. The expense, we lost over $3 million with that one. That basically depleted all the reserves that we had, and then some. And so that happened at the time when we're growing Sports San Diego and trying to make a larger impact on the community by bringing more events here. And so I will tell you, I credit our board of directors. A lot of smart people, a lot of people who are passionate about our organization, a lot of people who are passionate about San Diego. And it was not an option for this to not work, and so here we are today. When we were doing just the Holiday Bowl, we were driving up to 25,000 room nights a year. Our first full year as Sports San Diego, which that full year ended June 30th, 2023, we did 100,000 room nights. The second year that ended this summer, June 30th, 2024, we did more than 130,000 room nights. Where we want to go is to 250,000 room nights a year through our efforts. And when UCLA backed out of the game, that really put us up against the ropes. But a lot of people who are way smarter than me helped to get us through that, navigate. Now, we're not out of the woods yet by any stretch. We're, like I said, we lost all of our reserves. So it's interesting. Every day I come in, it's something different. But we still have 2 years left on our bowl contracts for this year and next year. And then that says nothing about what's happening in college athletics either. So the bowl system has been challenged by opt-outs, kids not playing in the games, the transfer portal that opens up before the bowl games are played and right after the regular season. The early signing deadline, distracts a lot of attention from the bowl games for coaches and teams. And then you get into NIL and money that comes into play, and a lot of things were playing against the bowl games. And so we're working through that at the exact same time, and playoff expansion is probably the biggest part in terms of impacting the bowl games. So a lot of things have been thrown at us, and that's we're just talking about the Holiday Bowl. We're not talking about the rest of our business, the other business lines that we have. So, but the Holiday Bowl is still recognized as one of the best, most respected bowl games in the country. Outside of the college football playoff, it's one of the top 5 games, certainly, and of the 42 that exist right now. And we're moved into Snapdragon Stadium. Very excited about that move back to our home in Mission Valley. And we got the ACC. We got the current and former teams from the Pac-12. Looking at good matchups right now. We've been narrowing down the teams here pretty well. And I would be surprised now if we don't have a top 25 matchup at Snapdragon Stadium. As part of that, it's the KGB Sky Show also. So the old KGB Sky Show that used to be in Mission Valley, it's coming back to Mission Valley. And that'll be post-game for the festivities. And, our volunteers are you see wearing the red coats in December. They're the best in the business and put on a great show for our fans. And, we do this. This is San Diegans put this on for San Diego. Again, it's a nonprofit effort. And we want all of San Diego to participate in one way or the other, whether it's coming to the parade, coming to the game, running in our 5K, just participate because it's an important event for San Diego. And I encourage if there's business owners out there right now, buy 10 tickets to the game. Just get 10 tickets, give them to your employees as Christmas gifts, or take your family, take your friends. You will not regret it. I think it's the best fan experience for a sporting event in San Diego.
It's always a fantastic experience, but the games have also been awful good as well. I want to come back to the DirecTV Holiday Bowl in a little bit, but I want to kind of go in order here. And tomorrow, I got to be honest with you, there are not a lot of things I'm missing right now, not being on radio 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm missing going to the Army-Navy game this year, but I'm bitching and moaning to my wife about not being able to broadcast from the blood drive tomorrow at Grossmont Center. I've been out there the last few years. It's a wonderful day. It's amazing when you're yelling and screaming how many people would show up and just to come by and say hi. Talk a little bit about the blood drive tomorrow at Grossmont Center that gets underway at 9 and runs until 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yeah, talk about an important event. We're proud to partner with the San Diego Blood Bank on the Sports San Diego blood drive. We're also really lucky to have Kaiser Permanente to be supporting us with it. And this is a critical need period for blood. The holidays, not as many people donate generally during the holiday season. People are out and about, and there is a high need for blood. And it's something that's near and dear to my heart and near and dear to the heart of this organization. I'm very proud to be doing this tomorrow from 9 to 6 out at Grossmont Center, out by the Choose Fitness Center. It's, I think, the second biggest blood drive of the year for the San Diego Blood Bank, mobile blood drive. And last year we did somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 pints, which is amazing.
We set a record again. All 3 years I was there, we set a record.
We need to do a record again. Without you there, Coach, broadcasting live, we still need to set a record. It's going to be difficult, but man, if we can get 400 pints, that would be incredible, and it's so necessary and so needed, and really, really proud of our organization for taking that one.
All right, that's tomorrow, Grossmont Center, 9 to 6. They will take walk-ups. You can also go on their website, San Diego Blood Bank, and they'll get you all set up. Even if they're stop by, they'll take the blood. Okay, let's talk about Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving, the 2024 Rady Children's Invitational. I'm just mind boggled by the teams that you're bringing in, and I know tomorrow you got a big announcement and. I know you can't say anything about it, but John Rothstein from CBS Sports kind of tweeted something out. I hear Kansas may be coming next year, and we're going to find out officially tomorrow. But a great field. But this field this year, you got Purdue coming. They're one of the top teams in the country.
Yeah, we actually our field this year is pretty remarkable. I mean, there's no other tournament out there that can say MTE that can say they have a rematch of a Final Four game last year, and we have that. The first game next Thursday at Lion Tree Arena at UCSD is the Purdue Boilermakers, number 6 in the country right now, against NC State, and then right after that we got BYU and Ole Miss. Really good tournament. Super excited about it. This was something that was 5 years in the making before we got it launched last year. And last year we got it started off with a great field with Oklahoma, Iowa, USC, and Seton Hall. Sold out the venue. And I will say, I've been with this organization now for 34 years. And last year's tournament might be the best event that we've ever produced. And now coming in to our second year, we're not making overhaul, like we're not changing everything, right? We're just fine tuning it so that it's even better. The field is pretty remarkable. Purdue is going to be very well represented in that arena next Thursday and Friday for sure. And then on the other side, our purpose, remember, is to drive tourism. Thanksgiving is a slow period for tourism. Last year with this event, we were anticipating maybe generating 1,500 room nights. We had 28% of our ticket purchases were from outside of San Diego County, and they produced 3,000 room nights. This year, 68% of these ticket purchases are from outside San Diego County. And so that number could go north of 5,000 room nights, which is great. But we have the greatest destination for an MTE here in San Diego. We have wonderful visibility through our partners at Fox Sports. So the games on Thursday will be on FS1. Both games on Friday will be on Fox Broadcast. We have the best sponsor and beneficiary you could ever ask for. I think it's hard to argue the most beloved charity in San Diego is Rady Children's Hospital. And to be partners with them is remarkable. The venue at Lion Tree Arena and our host up there at UC San Diego Athletics, top-notch, first class, and it is a pretty amazing. Last year when the first game was getting started, the arena's packed, teams are warming up. There's we got the teams out and the fans are coming in. We have music and activating out on the walkway leading into the arena. We have games and music and food and contests and things like that. And as I was walking into the arena, I screamed because it was so exciting. It was 5 years in the making, and here it was, and it couldn't have gone better. This year, we sold out 2 months ago. I'm not confirming nor denying what you've heard with our field in 2025. Those tickets are going to be gone like that. It's just we really stumbled into something that I think is great for our organization and great for San Diego, more importantly.
Okay, and this year's event is sold out Thursday, 12 o'clock tip-off, Purdue going against NC State. The late game at 2:30 will be Ole Miss, BYU, and then Friday it'll get underway at 12:30 with the third place game. The championship game will be at 3 o'clock. Okay, I want to go back to the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, Friday, December 27th, 5 o'clock, Snapdragon Stadium. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. I know publicly I know what you're gonna tell me, but you have to be a little concerned about that turf. You have to be.
I will tell you, Coach, I have a lot of faith in that group at Snapdragon Stadium. They have brought new turf in. They put it down. It's a different kind of turf. They put it down last week. When I was in there doing, we had a meeting over in the stadium last Thursday, and I saw it. It was covered. I'm not worried about it. I know they have it handled. There's only 2 events on it before the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, a CIF game and an Aztec game. You know, it's going to look wonderful. It's going to be beautiful on game day.
Well, I'm going to be there Saturday night for the Open Division titles. I'm going to take a good look at it, but you know, the longer it's in, the better. So your event's the third one, so it should be in pretty good shape. But I know fans wanted me to ask you that question. So
I totally get it. I mean, I was
that.
concerned about it too, you know, but I have total faith that it's going to be a non-issue.
Okay, tell me right now who's in the running. I'm getting calls from people in Arizona thinking Arizona State may be coming to this game. I'd be excited to see Sparky and the pitchfork and all that, but you know, who right now is in line to come?
So I'm going to tell you this, and it can change in the next 2 weeks, but I really think on the Pac-12 side, so remember, it's the playoff will take the teams, then it's the Alamo Bowl picks ahead of us, and then us. So we get the second pick after the playoff. Not sure how many of them are going to go up into the playoff. You know, it looks like Oregon is fairly a lock in there, and then it still can be Colorado and Arizona State. You know, they might be competing in the Big 12 championship game against each other. So one of those could go up. But there's really 3 teams that we're looking at right now, realistically, and that includes Colorado, it includes Arizona State and Sparky, and it also includes Washington State. So I really think on the Pac-12 side, it's going to be one of those 3 teams. So I think, you know, it looks like we'll have a 9-win plus team, possibly a 10-win team. I would guess it will have a top 25 team on that side. So we're in really good shape. You know, I mean, we're in good shape, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Colorado comes, Mark Neville's probably going to be walking around wearing a pair of blenders.
We may be calling up blenders before too long, that's for sure. But and then on the other side, the ACC. So we're considered a top tier bowl game in the ACC. So after the CFP takes their ACC team, it looks like right now it's probably only going to be 1 team that they'll get from the ACC. And so the teams that we're looking at right now, realistically, I would say are Clemson. I would say Miami is in the picture, and SMU. I think those are the 3 most likely teams. Again, I'm happy with any of those 3. Notre Dame could pop into that picture, but I think the way they're playing right now, they're probably going to go into the playoff. Again, this can all change because Miami or SMU likely, if things play out the way if the favorites win, those 2 will be competing in the ACC championship game, and one of them will go up. After that, whoever's left, the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando, us here at the Holiday Bowl in San Diego, and the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, we get together along with the conference, and they're going to give us teams that are in our pool, you know, and so it'll include the loser of the championship game, most likely Clemson. If Notre Dame's available, then Notre Dame, and then teams that have 3 or 4 wins like Duke, Pitt, maybe Pitt, if they turn things around, and a few other teams. And then we rank them in order of our preference. If we all prefer a different team, number 1, we get our first choice. If we all want the same team, then we have a little discussion and we talk it out. But again, over there, you know, I would be, if we get an SMU, it'd probably be an SMU that's 11-2 and a top 20 team. If we get Clemson, it could be another ranked Clemson team that would be coming here. If So we'll see. I do think the most likely scenario there would be on the ACC, either SMU, Clemson, or Miami.
Well, I don't think you can lose. It really sounds like on both sides of the bracket there, you can't lose this year. And going to Snapdragon, it's going to be exciting. Hey, before I let you go, how can fans go ahead and get tickets as early as here in about 30 seconds?
Yeah. So go to our website, go to holidaybowl.com. And for your listeners, I'm going to kind of do a little behind the scenes thing. So easy way, go to holidaybowl.com and it pops up right away. Get your tickets now. But for your listeners, I'm encouraging businesses and that haven't gone to the Holiday Bowl before or haven't been in a while is to go this year. Just get 10 tickets. Get 10 tickets. And if I'm going to give an email address, okay? So people can write this down. And it's our ticket guy, and he's going to kill me for giving this out. But his name is Phil Snyder, and his email address is psnyder@holidaybowl.com. And so it's psnyder@holidaybowl.com. And you can just write in the email, tell him that you heard Mark on Coach's show, and he said you would help me get the very best tickets for the game.
Oh, that's great. Good stuff on that. Mark, we'll do this again. I'll see you over the Thanksgiving holiday at the basketball venue. I'm looking forward to that and continued success, and glad everything's going well. And we'll anxiously await the opponents for December 27th.
That'll be on December 8th, by the way. That's when we're announcing the teams.
Sounds great. Thanks for the time today.
All right, you bet. Thanks, Coach. You're the best.
There you go. Mark Neville, the CEO of Sports San Diego, spending pretty much a half hour with us talking about everything. And again, that email, you want to get a little preferential treatment? Well, it's nice to know people in high places. P. Snyder at holidaybowl.com. Tell him you heard Mark on my program, and you can get some preferential treatment. That's good stuff right there. Boy, I'll tell you what, here's what I'm hearing regarding basketball. And for you basketball junkies out there, they're going to have a press conference tomorrow here in San Diego, and they're going to announce, from what I understand, courtesy of John Rothstein from CBS Sports. He tweeted this out, I think, yesterday. Kansas, Bill Self is bringing the Jayhawks to San Diego next Thanksgiving. They'll be at Lion Tree Arena. Florida's coming, Wisconsin, and Providence. Think about that. That's amazing. I mean, you talk about hoopaholics, and somebody asked me the other night when I was doing the UCSD game, and I think most of you know that I work on the UCSD basketball games. I am the color analyst, and really I'm having a great time. Lion Tree Arena is a fantastic place. But somebody asked me, well, when's San Diego State going to play? I go, well, I don't think they're going to play. And the reason they're not going to play, well, it's two. Number one, I don't think San Diego State wants to play non-conference games on a neutral court in San Diego. But if you heard Mark, Sports San Diego is all about bringing in tourism. And you want to bring fans in from outside of San Diego to go in the restaurants and the hotels and all that. So anyways, that was good stuff. A lot of very valuable information. And I thought Mark really, when I hit him with that question regarding the financial issues, he really, I thought did a nice job. And again, there are a lot of people in San Diego that want to continue to promote sports, and we'll get Mark on again. I mean, I've got a lot of questions. I could have gone an hour and a half with him without a problem, because I've got all kinds of questions about, bringing amateur sports aside from college sport. I'm talking about, my grandkids always play these club sports. And I know a lot of you that listen to my program and have listened to me for many years know that I'm very involved with, I was involved with my daughters in sports and now my grandkids in sports, but they always have to travel to Orange County. They got to go to Vegas all the time for, volleyball tournaments, soccer tournaments, softball tournaments. Hey, this is America's finest city. And we need venues to where we can attract people like they're doing in Vegas. Vegas has been great. I mean, look at Vegas. They're going to get a baseball team. They've got an NFL team. They're probably at some point going to get an NBA team. We got to be proactive here. and hopefully with Mark and the group here with Sports San Diego, we can continue to bring more and more sports of all, amateur, youth ages, high school, college. And, they're starting with this basketball tournament along with the Holiday Bowl, but there are a lot of things they could do. They need a venue where you can, house a lot of basketball games at one time in a tournament or volleyball matches. So we'll see where it goes, but they're I think creating this organization the last few years is really going to help San Diego. Okay, I want to get into what went on Monday. I anxiously awaited the National League and American League Rookie of the Year, and let's be honest. We really thought Jackson Merrill had a shot. He'd won the Baseball America Award. He'd won the Players' Choice Award as the Rookie of the Year. I mean, he'd won a bunch of them. But I guess it was, I think it was 2 weeks ago, almost. We had Scott Miller, National Baseball writer, on, and Scotty told us that he thought Paul Skeens was going to win it. And the reason he thought, because he knows all the muckety mucks that vote for that award. And he was at the World Series. He kind of took a poll. Scotty lives in San Diego, and he knows what Jackson Merrill meant to the Padres. But he told us, he's very honest. He goes, I think Paul Skeens is going to win it. We had John Maffey on last Friday. John had a Rookie of the Year vote, and he won't be able to join us, by the way, on Friday. He's got a previous engagement, but he couldn't tell us last Friday who he voted for, but I guarantee he voted for Jackson Merrill. So, I sat down in front of the television at 3:00 on Monday and was all excited about waiting to see, who was going to win. Well, Paul Skeens wins it. And I guess I'm not surprised because I said on the podcast Monday that I wanted Jackson Merrill to win it, but I thought Paul Skeens would win it. And he did. And Paul Skeens, it's hard to argue. I mean, we're all San Diego Padre fans. We all love Jackson Merrill. He did everything humanly possible to help this team get into the playoffs. And they wouldn't have got into the playoffs if it weren't for Jackson Merrill. It was that cut and dry. I mean, you think about it. Manny got off to a slow start. Tatis was, coming back, and then he got hurt. And Profar and Merrill, for the most part, Jerks and Jackson Merrill, they carried the ball club early in the year. But Jackson Merrill never slowed down. He kept going. I mean, his numbers were incredible. He had 61 extra base hits as a rookie. Nobody could have ever imagined that. He had 292, 24 bombs, 90 RBIs. Played an excellent center field. I mean, the guy shows up. He's supposed to be a shortstop. Then they say, hey, you're going to play left for about a day and a half. And then all of a sudden, hey, we're going to put you in center field. How are you going to do? He was unbelievable. I mean, he played as good a center field as anybody in the National League. But he finishes second. And Paul Skeens' numbers were incredible, though. I mean, I'm talking about incredible. And if you really look at it, I know he didn't start the year in the big leagues. I know, at the end of the year, they held him back. They were protecting that arm. And who wouldn't want to protect that arm? But his numbers were impressive. And, this is nothing against Paul Skeens. I wish our guy here in San Diego would have won it. I thought, I kind of side with everyday players. But Paul Skeens' numbers were ridiculous. And he's also a finalist. He's not going to win it, but he's a finalist for the Cy Young. And he also started the All-Star game. Okay. This guy, a lot was expected of Paul Skeens. And you know what? He went above and beyond. 11-3, a 1.96 ERA, 133 innings pitched, 170 strikeouts, and a whip of 0.95. I mean, it's hard to argue. You got 23 first place votes, 7 second place, a total of 136. Our guy, Jackson Merrill, got the other 7 first place votes, 23 second place votes, 104 total. And Jackson Churia, who's a hell of a player with Milwaukee, man. What a talented young guy he is. He finished third. He got a total of 26 third place votes. And Shota Imanaga, the left-hander from Chicago, he got 4 third place votes. Those are the only 4 guys that got votes in the National League. So, I'm not happy, but also the guy that beat him out set all kinds of rookie records on the mound. And in the American League, Luis Heel, he outdistanced Colton Cowser only by 5 points, 106 to 101. And Austin Wells, the Yankee catcher, finished with 12 total points. So that was on Monday. Then on Tuesday, I told you I thought Pat Murphy had won it over Mike Shildt. He did. Um, I saw Pat Murphy manage the Padres in 2015, and he was the interim manager, and it wasn't a good ball club, and they never should have fired Buddy Black when they were 32 and 33 because things didn't go well after that. And Pat Murphy ended up leaving the organization and ended up with Craig Counsell in Milwaukee. Eventually, now, after being the bench coach for many years, Counsell goes to the Cubs. Pat Murphy's in. Pat Murphy did a nice job. And I'm not going to say anything against Pat, but I think Mike Shildt did a hell of a job, and I think Carlos Mendoza did a hell of a job with the Mets. But I told you Murphy would get it. He won a division title. He won 93 games, just like Mike Shildt, but he won a division title. Granted, it was in the NL Central, but he won a division title. So it's hard to argue that. I guess the thing that I would argue, not that Murphy won it, but he won it easily. He had 144 total points. Mike Shildt had 70. Carlos Mendoza had 35. And even a couple of other managers got votes. Torey Lovullo, Rob Thompson actually got a first place vote. I mean, Rob Thompson's an outstanding manager. But Pat Murphy won the award. He walked away. He got 27 first place votes. And Mike Shildt ended up with one first place vote, 19 second place votes, 8 third, a total of 70 points. Pat Murphy walked away with it. Now, today, well, I guess I better give you the American League as well. In the American League, it went to Stephen Vogt, who I predicted on the show Monday that he would win it, and he won it over Matt Cortero from Kansas City and A.J. Hinch of Detroit. Okay, today we've got the Cy Young, and I'm not going to go through everybody. I'm just going to tell you right now, the next 2 days, slam dunk. Tarek Skubal from Detroit will win it in the American League. Chris Sale will win it in the National League. Not even close. Neither one of them should be a close vote. And then tomorrow, you've got the MVP. Ohtani will win it going away, and Aaron Judge will win it going away. So that's the way that's going to go. So the next 2 days, there's no suspense. I'm not going to worry about being in front of my TV at 3 o'clock today and tomorrow like I was Monday and yesterday. Okay, I want to get, before I get out of here, I want to get to the Aztecs a little bit in basketball. That game pretty much went the way I thought it would the other night. Gonzaga, number 3 in the country. The way I look at it, and I said this the other day on the podcast, too big inside for the Aztecs. Too big, too strong, too many veteran players. I mean, they had guys that have played a lot of college basketball. Graham Ike, who tore him up inside. You recall he played at Wyoming, been at Gonzaga the last couple of years, 6'9", dynamic player. He killed him inside. 23.7-9 shooting, got to the foul line 11 times, knocked down 9, had 9 rebounds. They didn't have an answer for him. They got an outstanding point guard in Ryan Nembhard, 19 points, 10 assists. He's averaging 10 assists a game. He went into that game with 30. He came out with 40. Just too many horses. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. And as I watched the game and I was kind of thinking about the podcast today, I played college basketball. I didn't play at that level. I played against guys that played in the NBA, though. And I always tell the story about Tom Chambers when I played against him at the University of Utah, who, is an incredible player. And he was so good that, go in the Hall of Fame. And he was the NBA All-Star MVP one year. And I attempted to guard him. So, I've been around some really good players that have played in the NBA. And I had to play against them and try to figure out how to stop them. I'll tell you what, the other night, Aztecs, even though they got beat 80-67, there were a lot of positives in that game for me. Their backcourt's pretty damn good. And that's without Reese Waters right now. Miles Bird played the other night, probably shouldn't. He played just about 22 minutes on that sore ankle. Really, he had 5 rebounds and 3 assists, but didn't shoot the ball well. He's not a great offensive player. That game's going to develop. Not a great shooter. He's great on the drive, a slasher, and he's a tremendous athlete. And when he's healthy, really, really dynamic. He'll block shots, he'll dish the ball off, and he'll get his fair share of points, but he's not a great pure shooter. But the other night, didn't even score in 22 minutes. And, he just wasn't himself. But Nick Boyd, the transfer that came in, he was fantastic. He had 23 points, 9 rebounds. B.J. Davis, who redshirted a year ago, had a really good game, 15 points, 6 of 9 shooting. And the guys inside who got beat up by the 6'10 guys of Gonzaga, they're going to be better because now they're going to know the level of play. I mean, they weren't playing Occidental, okay? They're playing big time players. And you know what? I'm very encouraged. I mean, the Aztecs are going to lose some games. They're going to lose some games, just like I said last year. But they're a lot greener this year. They don't have those veterans. Reese Waters, I don't know when he's coming back. They're saying 3 to 5 weeks. I mean, he's a hell of a player. Now, I know down the stretch last year, he kind of lost his offensive game and really got to the point where he wasn't even shooting. He's a damn good player. 2 years ago, he was a Pac 12's sixth man of the year. When he transferred to state, I was so excited. And he played well last year, but down the stretch really didn't shoot the ball all that much. Kind of deferred to Darian Travell and to some of the other guys. But the Aztecs are going to be okay, but they're going to take their lumps early. But come Mountain West Conference time, they're going to start dishing out some lumps because these big guys work their tail off. They work hard. And they're going to get better. They're going to get better. And if you look at Brian Dutcher's squad, every year they get better and better and better. You know why? A couple of reasons. Number one, he recruits guys with high character. You never hear about the Aztec basketball program having problems off the court. They recruit guys with high character, and they recruit guys that love to play the game of basketball. That's why they continue to get better and better and better. And they will. They've got a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent, but it's very, very raw. And most of them are on the inside. The outside guys, the guards, they're a pretty talented group that are probably where they need to be at this point in time. They're only going to get better with playing with one another. But the boys inside, let me tell you, they got some talent. And I was very encouraged. I didn't come away from that game the other night discouraged because I know they ended up getting beat by 13. That was pretty much an 8 to 12 point ball game most of the night. And there was never a point where you thought Gonzaga was going to lose that game. Mark Few's got a heck of a team. And this is a much better team this year than he had a year ago. But they got a lot of veteran guys on that team. But if you're an Aztec fan, don't be discouraged. I mean, they've got a tough one coming up early next week on Tuesday, 11 o'clock or 11 a.m. They're going to be over in Vegas in that Players Era Festival in Vegas. And they're going to be going against Ryan Kalkbrenner and Creighton. And if you recall, we've seen Kalkbrenner the last couple of years when the Aztecs have played Creighton. I mean, earlier this year, he went for 49. I mean, he's a talented guy. He's going to play in the NBA. In fact, I thought he'd probably come out and go to the NBA this year. But he's a tough dude, man. He blocks shots, great offensive player. So the Aztecs going over there, they're going to have their hands full. And like I said, they're going to lose some games. But don't give up on them. Don't get panicky. There's a lot of talent, but it's young and it's developing. But I'm still very, very encouraged that the Aztecs are going to have an outstanding year and make a run to get to the NCAA tournament. As long as they can get, Miles Bird's ankle healthy and get Reese Waters back in there, hopefully in January, early January, maybe earlier. We'll have to wait and see. But there are a lot of positives right now with Aztec basketball. So don't be discouraged. Normally talks well, they got beat, Gonzaga's good, but, San Diego State didn't do this, that, and 38 other things. I saw a lot of effort the other night, a lot of effort. And when you're given that kind of effort, you're going to grow, you're going to get better, and you're going to win a lot of basketball games. They're going to do very well this year. I really believe that. And unless, there's an injury bug that hits. Okay, that's going to wrap it up today, folks. Until we get to a few comments here. Coach, Merrill's a nice player, and I'm a Dodger fan, but Paul Skeens was dominant. I can't argue that. I wanted Merrill to get it more because he was an everyday player. I think I still have a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. If you go back and look at Jake Cronenworth's rookie year, he probably should have won it. But they gave it to a guy, Devin Williams, who's an incredible pitcher. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have Devin Williams coming out of the Padre bullpen. But he pitched 27 innings, and his numbers were, ridiculous. But he pitched 27 innings. That's tough to see. Rod, good to see you, Coach. First time viewer, but long time listener. Thank you very much, Rod. I appreciate that. And tell 10 of your friends, like Mark Neville said. Buy 10 tickets for our program. Tell 10 friends that are sports talk people. Hey, Coach Quintero's on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:30 live. And of course, you can go online on YouTube and catch all of our shows. WK, MLB waits way too long to hand out these awards. They don't want to do it during the playoffs, so they wait. It's always been like that. And then they drag it out. So MLB Network will have some viewers at 6 o'clock Eastern. And I'm not going to be one of them today or tomorrow. I got other things to do. But I did sit in front of my TV each of the last 2 days waiting to find out how our Padres did. David, they had their mind made up in July. Didn't matter if Merrill hit 320 and 35 bombs. Typical East Coast bias. Well, you know what? I can't argue that. I think when Paul Skeens first came up, he hit the ground running. And, he started the All-Star game. That's a tough one to get by. He started the All-Star game. But you know what? I think a lot of people, whether you're an American League fan or a National League fan, everybody heard about him. A lot of people hadn't seen him pitch yet. And baseball fans in general wanted to see Paul Skeens pitch in the All-Star game. So they put him out there in the very, very first inning. All right. Good one. I agree with that. 320 and 35 bombs. Who knows? Maybe he'll hit 320 with 35 bombs coming up in 2025. Hey, a reminder, really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our channel. And again, we're here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:30 live. And then you can always go on YouTube to track down our program. We also go live on Facebook. We're on X. As well. We put the show up on X after the show's over, and a lot of ways to get our program. And again, we have comments at the bottom. Write in your comments, and on Friday, before we hit the weekend, we'll take some of those comments from today's show and Monday's show and try to answer those for you. Also, I want to go back real quick. Mark Neville said if you'd like to get Holiday Bowl tickets and get a little preferential treatment, you can email P. Snyder, P. Snyder, SNYDER, at holidaybowl.com, and tell him you want the best tickets for the Holiday Bowl, and he'll help you out. And make sure to tell him that you listen to Coach John Quintero's podcast. And again, P. Snyder at holidaybowl.com. Again, please subscribe to the program, and we'll talk to you again on Friday. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks again for tuning in and supporting the John Quintero Show on YouTube, San Diego Sports Talk. Bye-bye.